Hi, welcome to the Rittner School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. The time of the year is spring, and spring gives us an amazing variety of botanicals to play with in floral art. Now, normally we associate the spring with things like iris, daffodils, and tulips. However, many people aren't aware that there's so many more options available at this time of the year. And we have some pretty amazing samples from the folks of Blooming of Beloit in Beloit, Wisconsin, just giving us an idea of some of the various options available to us. And I think that you're going to find this presentation to be an interesting one. Our staff has been working very, very hard to come up with examples of spring designing that give a very interesting and different look. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. So let's start off. Notice at this time of the year we have all kinds of flowering branchy materials, and we've already played in past videos with things like forsythia. In this particular video we have another amazing botanical. This is the Van Houtte variety of spirea. Isn't it gorgeous? It's absolutely beautiful. And one of the things that you can do when you're playing with some of your flowering branches is simply take a number of stems and then place them into a column and arrange them as you'd like. We have something kind of draping down a little bit more on this side, a little bit more here, so that it almost gives us an asymmetric kind of crescent effect on it. So consider, if you will, what we call at Rittner's the plump and throw approach. Plump or throw some of your flowering branches into a column, and you can come up with an instant design. It's pretty, it's quick, it's easy, the Rittner's school approach. And I think you'll find that that will work well for you. But there are other ideas that we'd like to share with you, my viewer, in terms of different kinds of spring floral design options. And let me show you a few of them, because I think you'll find them kind of neat. We have, in the last design, something that was fairly wide and flowing. Here's another example of a very, very pretty design, and it is a water-based design. But notice that the feel on this one is different. We also have spirea in this one. It's a different variety of spirea from the last one. And then a clustering here of aronia. Aronia is a very, very pretty flowering branch. Notice here we can cluster it as we have, or we could hold it individually. It is absolutely gorgeous. It also has a lovely fragrance to it. In this design, notice a clustering of the materials, and then a single hydrangea over here. So notice the difference between this design, my viewer, and the last one. The last design that we showed you was a little bit more open, airy, flowing. This one is a little bit tighter. Easy to do though, because basically a grouping of our spirea in the back, our aronia in the middle, a single hydrangea down here, and you've got a lovely design, a spring design, using some pretty amazing products. But wait, let's see some other ideas here. Both of the last designs played with columns of glass. There are all kinds of glassware options available to us, and here is another example. And this is kind of interesting, because here's a piece of glass that has painting in it as well as clear sections. And what's been achieved in this design is rather interesting, because normally when we look in terms of our glassware, we think of things that are kind of roundy or oval. In this particular design, this is all water-based, but it actually is using high style or linear designing in it. And to do that, again, a wide variety of different materials are used here. Some bells of Ireland up here, spirea here, 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 worked into the design. Some amazing viburnum from Blooming of Beloit in here to give a very pretty effect. Some stalk here, here, and down here. Some of our hydrangea, always a favorite flower in use in our floral art. Some of our roses mixed in here, and some of our lilies. This is a very, very pretty effect, and of course we've got some of our silver dollar eucalyptus here that kind of drip and droop. The overall effect of this design is linear. It's arranged, but notice the way the elements are placed here, it doesn't feel arranged, it feels unarranged. It feels a little bit more casual, a little bit more informal, and yet it has definite pattern and form to it. This is not a small design. It is a fairly good-sized piece, and this would work very, very well in an entry area or possibly for use at events and things like that. It is absolutely gorgeous, water-based at its best, using many of our amazing spring materials that we have available to us. Now, let's see what else we have. In terms of glassware, today we have a wider variety of different kinds of glass to play with when we're dealing with water-based. And here's a very, very pretty design done in glassware, but notice that the shape of the glassware is a little bit different. In this particular case, we've got essentially an oval-shaped design, an oval-shaped container rather, a little bit of our foliage placed in here, a big white hydrangea as a focal point, the use of spirea, various varieties here, 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 along the outside of the thing, some of the viburnum from blooming abelloid along with the spirea here and in here, the use of a ranunculus, the use of a lily bud or two facing out here, some alstroemeria, roses. Notice that in the placement here, again, the concept here is to make it feel informal, almost like we just took it from the farm and are throwing it into a container. It is arranged, but it feels unarranged. The use of some of the eucalyptus, like the silver dollar eucalyptus here, or if we used seeded euc, which would be another option, give a very, very cool effect. And notice that we are deliberately keeping our flowers facing in different directions. Alstro faces towards the back as well as the front. The lily faces up here. This one faces over here. The ranunculus faces slightly to the side. This is a very, very cool trick that you can use, my viewer, to make your designs feel a little less formal, and yet while feeling less formal and unarranged, you're still controlling your materials. It's a really, really cool illusion and very, very easy to carry off. So notice we played thus far with a column that's rather open and airy. We've played with a column that's a little bit tight with 3 layers of spirea, aronia, and hydrangea. We played with some glassware that has kind of coloring as well as clear areas in a high-style design. And now you've got this particular look, which is also quite pretty. We have some more ideas for you, my viewer, that I think you're going to enjoy. Now, not all glassware is clear or partially painted. This one's totally opaque. And again, the concept behind this design is to give a kind of a very informal, unarranged type look. And it does it very, very effectively. The use of the spirea here, 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 towards the back. The use of the silver dollar eucalyptus drooping down here and here. And then playing with different flowers that are very, very popular at this time of the year. We, of course, have our hydrangea as a focal area. Some of our peonies from blooming abelloid. They are absolutely amazing here and here, placed on either side. You never can go wrong with dahlias. Dahlias are always popular, and we enjoy seeing them starting to come through at this time of the year. The viburnum, placed here again from blooming abelloid. Again, it's arranged, but it's unarranged. And if you look at it closely, it does not feel tight. It doesn't feel regimented. It's a more loose, open, airy, out of the farm kind of look, and yet it is controlled as a design. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think when I hold it up closer to you, my viewer, I think you get a better sense of it. It's absolutely beautiful, using many of these amazing materials available to us at this time of the year in a glass container that, again, is not a traditional glass container of being all clear. Now, let's see, what other things do we have that we can show you, my viewer? Well, I've got something here. For those of you who like to play with foam, there's nothing wrong with foam. People love to use it. This is a container in this particular design that is a twiggy kind of container. It has a liner in it, and we have foam in there. So those who like foam-based media, this works well. And the feeling of the twigs definitely gives a very, very natural kind of an effect that we love. Once again, notice this kind of very, very natural, just thrown in from the farm kind of look. A couple of our hydrangea forming almost a focal point here. The extremities of the design, making use of, again, some of our spirea and different varieties here, here, and there. The silver dollar eucalyptus placed here, some of our viburnum kind of hanging off here, dripping from the back, and also over on this side as well. And then using some of our favorites in terms of coming up with focal materials, the use of dahlia here along with our hydrangea, roses, you never can go wrong with them. Once again, it gives a very, very natural, absolutely gorgeous view. And notice how different this is than the traditional spring design of some of our tulips and daffodils and iris. It gives really a very unarranged yet beautiful effect to our designing. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I've got one other thing we'd like to show you, my viewer, and again, my compliments to our staff here at Rittner's, because coming up with all of these different kinds of looks. Here is a design done in water. It's using basically a piece of glass. It has a bluish tint to it, very, very pretty cobalt blue. Again, using spirea on the top and on the two sides. You look at it carefully, you can see it's almost like it's framing the design using the spirea material. Using a single hydrangea, kind of placed in towards as a focal area. Not only do we get amazing spirea from blooming of beloit, but we also get some pretty amazing lilacs. And using the lilacs here, and just a touch of our viburnum showing up. The use of some of our ranunculus, also quite popular around this time of the year, and some buds. Don't be afraid to use buds. Notice we've got open materials, we have things that are in the process of opening, and then we have buds. It means that there'll always be something interesting going on in our design. This is water-based designing. It is a bit more tight than what we started with in the beginning, but it gives a really cool effect with a framing effect and a mixture of things in the middle. Now, let's contrast this with another design that is also water-based. And again, this is a tighter effect than what we started with in the beginning of our presentation, but we wanted you to see this kind of thing because it gives really a cool effect. Once again, it's water-based, but even though it happens to be water-based, notice that it has a very different feel. They are both tighter in terms of configuration, but in this one, we've got a mixture of all kinds of things mixed together with a frame around the outside. In this particular one, essentially we have blocking or grouping. A lot of designers love this. It is sometimes called blocking, color grouping. Some have called it Euro style on color or Dutch style on color. Regardless of what you call it, what it really means is we've got very specific segments of our design with different things. We've got a segment here with our allium up here. We've got the viburnum right over here in this segment here. There is some amazing lilac over in this section here and this section here, and also over in here. Some of our hydrangea placed here. In other words, you've got these very specific sections, a dahlia section coming in here. So you've got definite groupings of things: allium, viburnum, lilac, hydrangea, dahlia, in different sections. And I think it gives a very, very interesting counterpoint to what you see going on here where it's all kind of mixed. There are many different strategies, my viewer, that you can follow when you're arranging your spring materials. By all means, feel free to go out, get some of these amazing things, our spirea, our lilacs, our hydrangea, our viburnum, our dahlias. So many of these amazing things are available to us at this time of the year. It is our hope here at Rittner's that you got a few good ideas from this brief presentation. On behalf of all of us here at Rittner's Floral School, I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure having you come in and visit our classroom today. We hope you enjoyed this brief presentation and it gives you some cool things to try out in your designing.